I'm back. So this is for people if you can read music. I think if you read music, you're doing yourself a little bit of a disservice by not writing music. And here's what I mean. Especially if you're somewhat of an advanced player or intermediate player, but you can read a little bit of music. This video is for you. I have a challenge to you. The challenge to you is to start writing music away from your instrument. Okay? Just start putting pen to paper and write some music out. And then go back to your instrument and see what it sounds like. It might not sound good. That's okay. Keep doing it. Keep trying it. Eventually, you might write something pretty cool. My advice, if you're a jazz player, is to write a contrafact. Take a tune like Autumn Leaves. So take a tune that you know the chord progression to. All 32 bars, and compose a solo over it. Eighth notes, quarter notes, 16th notes, whatever you want. And then go back, put on a slow backing track, and play back what you wrote. The cool thing about it is you will end up writing something that you wouldn't necessarily play. You'll compose something that you wouldn't necessarily improvise on the spot. And it'll give you fresh ideas. It'll give you a new perspective. Now, if you don't know how to read music and you're somehow watching this, learn to read music and start writing music right away. When I first started, I taught myself to read music. When I first started writing music, I didn't know what I was doing, but I was going for it. I was inspired by Beethoven and Bach and thought, well, if they can do it, I can do it, right? It's not that complicated. It's just a bunch of dots on paper. So dots on paper, I would say, in artistic disarray. So, for instance, here's something I wrote. It's just a little piece with no bar lines. It got wet, but here, let's see if there's something in here that's worth checking out. Yeah, so here's a piece I wrote for viola and flute, right? I have no idea what this sounds like. I haven't put it into Finale yet, into my notation software. So I don't know what it sounds like yet. I still need to put it into the notation software. I wrote this 5/1/24. I don't know if it's mirrored right now, but like I said, I have no idea what this sounds like. But the thing is once you get used to, proficient on your instrument, say you get used to the sound of or a minor scale, if you put that on paper, you're gonna know what sounds like. And if you know what this sounds like, you might know what this sounds like. Right? You can keep it simple. It doesn't have to be super complicated. It can be just one voice. Like I said, call them contrafacts. Is when you take a jazz standard and you maybe make your own solo over it. Maybe not a solo, but a melody, or something like that. It can be anything, really, to be honest. It's 2025. You can do anything you want. So my advice to you is just start putting pen to paper away from your instrument. That's the key. Start composing away from your instrument. And then go back and see what it sounds like. You might surprise yourself. It might be lame, but that's okay. The more you keep doing it, the better you're going to train your inner ear to understand the intervals and things. You can even jot down some chords. Like I said, it's 2025. It's funny, I saw a video by somebody, he was talking about, making fun of modern jazz guitar, and he just said, just put together triads and wiggle your head around and it'll sound good. Not that it'll sound good, but I mean, that's, he's kind of saying a lot of modern music just sounds random. But, for instance, if you just play around with certain sounds, like I started playing around with this sound, I like the idea of a D minor 7 with the 7 on top going to a D flat major 7. D minor 7 and D flat major 7 share an interval. They share this CNF. I just think that's cool. So I started composing something, a piece with just kind of moving between those two chords. So anyways, this video is way too long. If you can't read music, learn to read music. And if you can read music, start writing music. Start putting just pen to paper and then go back and see what it sounds like. That's the whole point here. I just want more and more musicians to do this. You don't need to compose everything on your instrument. Of course, you're going to compose some things on your instrument. That's a given, absolutely. There's a ton of tunes that I compose on my instrument. You know, one of them was a piece I did called Float, available everywhere for streaming. I wrote that on guitar. You know, it's still valid. So, but I have a ton of music on here. The first video on my YouTube page is a string quartet composition that I just wrote pen to paper in the course of like 3 or 4 days. Just didn't even listen to it till I wrote the ending bar line. Done. So, yeah. So it takes practice, but the more you do it, the more you'll be better at it, right? Just like anything. So practice things, get better at them. Write music, compose music. I was reading a book about Bach, and it said that he didn't sit at the keyboard. He wrote too much music to be able to sit at the keyboard and pound everything out. He could sit there and compose. There were some pieces that were derived from improvisation, but his son, Carl Philipp Emanuel Bach, said that he wasn't accustomed to composing at the keyboard. Compose at a desk. Bach knew what a minor scale sounded like. He didn't need a keyboard. He knew what modulations to do. He didn't need to sit at the keyboard and try it out. I'm sure he would then go try it out. That's what his son said. He would then go play it on the keyboard, of course. Maybe even do some edits. But you can sit. Beethoven, towards the end of his life, was, completely deaf. But he knew what he was writing. It's not so mystical when you've been playing music your whole life and performing music and composing music to be able to write music. Oh, a little bit of a chat here. What's going on? Some song requests. Well, I love you all. Anyone who's here, that's cool. So write contrafacts. Pick an easy jazz standard if you are musically literate. Write a contrafact over it. Take all 32 bars, write till the very end, and then put on a slow backing track and play to it. I've written a ton. Maybe I'll go over some of my contrafacts in a live stream. Anyways, again, this is way too long. I'm talking way too much. Have a good night, y'all. Check out my compositions. They're on my page or Spotify. You think Bach played a Casino or Yamaha keyboard? He definitely played a Yamaha, obviously. Of course Bach played a Yamaha. Somebody's asking me to play the Beatles. What is it? I used to know All My Loving, but I forget. G chord. Hit you with a G chord? How about a G major 7 sharp 11? There we go. Or how about this? There we go. There's your G chord. Here, I'll end it with Beethoven. Opus 132, the last movement of, I would say, the best string quartet. String quartet number 15, the last movement was what I just played. Such a great melody. I'm going to record a jazz version of it at some point. Such a good melody. So the intro is super metal. But you get the idea. I just played it. So have a good night, y'all. See you next time. Bye-bye.